On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Crazy news happened today. Certainly a super famous director and major MAGA hater has died in a really, really messed up kind of way. We're going to talk about that. This is a little bit scandalous the way this is kind of playing out. So it's very interesting in the big picture. Look, I'm along for the ride like many of you guys. I'm just holding a flashlight. Sometimes I wonder what the hell we're doing, but it's like, all right, this is how we're going to be. This is how we're going to be. It's cool. All said, I'll talk about that. We might talk about it too. We've got some other stuff going on too with elections. It's getting close. Hasn't happened yet. Executive order. It's going to come when it's coming, but it's being teased. And I love when Trump teases stuff. And also major victory here. FBI caught some wackadoos that were about ready to do some horrific stuff in my neck of the woods. And they're not going to be now. I think this is going to be an example. I think one way to kind of look at stuff like this, guys, just safely, is for every one of these that you hear about, assume there's 9 that you didn't. Now, they may not be immediate. They may not have happened all at the same time. I don't mean like that. But I mean, some of these things I don't think they tell us about because it'll freak people out. Especially when they've got suspicions of stuff. So for every one actual solid, I mean, they'll take credit for arrest when they can, for sure. And but I think there's a lot of stuff that they're looking for. And some of these people are probably, major, like maybe got away with it. Like they couldn't pull it off and we got the stuff, but we didn't catch the people. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of that kind of crap going on. And I'm sure some of that's because I've been watching The Blacklist. We're season 9 now. Season 9. Ooh, man, so many things have happened. If you guys haven't seen The Blacklist, it's a great show. I'm not trying to necessarily plug it, but literally they were talking about the cabal. This is like, there's 10 seasons. That's 10 years. Plus 2. They had a few people die during COVID, so they filmed through COVID. That caused some problems. It looked like they caused some delays. So really, over a span of 14 years, 12, 13, 14 years, somewhere in there. I don't know the exact number. These people were making this show, and they're talking about the cabal. They were talking about all these little deep state, little mini criminal things that happen. It's actually well done because every season there's like a larger story. It's kind of like Dexter, if you've ever watched that. It's sort of how Dexter was, too. The season, there was a larger story, and then every episode was some schmo. Sometimes it'd take 2 episodes to kill him, but some schmo is dying. Well, that's kind of what Blacklist is about, and many of these guys die. Anyway, it's interesting. But all that said, there's a lot of things happening that we'll likely not hear about for many reasons, possibly. A lot of people, Democrats right now, are showing this image. You guys... This is Trump, obviously hanging out with one of the Epstein children. Yeah, the Democrats are talking about it all over the place. Yeah, no, this is, of course, from the, what's the one where the kid got left at home and Trump was in the movie? Why am I drawing a blank on the kid's name? That's so funny. Macaulay Culkin, right? Whatever the hell that stupid movie was called. I don't know, I can't remember the name of the movie. It's only one of the most famous movies of all time. Whatever the case is, Trump was in it with Macaulay Culkin, they've blacked out the face to poke fun at all the stupid. C3 posted this. What actually happened? 2016, Trump won in a landslide, and they were shocked. 2020, Trump won in a landslide, and they stole it. 2024, Trump won in a landslide, and they couldn't stop it. I can't question that. I'm almost sure that's exactly what happened, right? So Trump's saying his administration's about to drop a whole lot, truckloads, he says, of evidence in regards to election fraud of 2020, because you've got to build it up. Really, election fraud goes back way further than that, but 2020 from the start of everything, yeah, this is going to be magical. And then when the truth finally comes out, it's going to be beautiful.
That's all they're good at cheating in elections, very good at cheating. They're professionals at cheating. Because we won in 2016 by a lot. The election was rigged in 2020. We have all the ammunition, all the stuff, and you'll see it come out. It's coming out in truckloads. And California's election, New York also, but California more than any other place is so rigged. It's such a rigged election. We won the Hispanic vote. So a lot of people say Republican wouldn't win California, but I won the Hispanic vote. I won in Miami. Think of that. In Miami, I won the Hispanic vote. Along the Texas border, I want every single city or town touching the Texas border, and they're 85 to 90% Hispanic. We won the Hispanic vote. If the vote in California was legitimate, which it's not, they have 38 million ballots. Everything is mail-in voting. They mail out 38 million ballots, and they come in. Where the hell do they go, and where do they come from? It's a rigged election in California because we would win California by a lot. And again, they feel they have the advantage with Hispanic. They don't.
I mean, he knows this, and so I'm not trying to necessarily correct Donald Trump. He obviously knows this, but the Miami Hispanic versus the California Hispanic, kind of different, right? A lot more Cubans in that Hispanic mix in Miami. I'm assuming. Tell me I'm wrong. My understanding, I've been some down there. There's a lot more Cuban people. Cubans come from a communist regime. They are overwhelmingly in support of Trump. I would also say, and some of this is some knowledge from one, very close people to me, that people that legally come here, went through the actual process, became citizens, are very different opinions from those that are not here legally. Whether they're on visas, whether they came in illegally, don't care, and especially if they're getting free stuff, those people actually kind of aren't on Trump's side at all, because Trump's against them. Now, their vote shouldn't count, okay? So let's not get lost in the weeds here. Their votes are not supposed to count. Maybe for local, if they want to do that. I know New York did that. Illegals are allowed to vote in local stuff, but not federal. That's against the Constitution. No. End of story, period. And that's where a lot of this is going to happen. And the courts are going to fight it, but if they come up with evidence up front, especially if the Maduro thing's handled, because Venezuela is directly involved in that, there's going to be a lot where there's going to be military technology was used. There was no warrants. We were literally being attacked by foreign governments. This is not a warrant thing. District courts are going to have to get dealt with in some way. I'm sure it's going to be the appellate court, and I'm sure every once in a while there's a nudge from that Supreme Court person that handles that district that's like, appellate court, you better immediately handle that, put that on stay, and we'll figure out in the courts what the hell. But there's no damn way they're stopping that. Now, of course, places where it's like Sotomayor or Kentucky, Jackson Brown, Jumanji, as I like to call her. Mostly because I'm pretty sure people consider that racist, though it's not. It can't be. 2 movies have been made. One was a fully white cast and the other was a fully black cast. You can't say shit. All said. This is a trip. I never celebrate the death of anybody ever. I mean, I'm probably one of the few people. Like, I was joking to myself earlier. I'm like, if the devil died, would you rejoice? I'm like, I'd probably still feel bad for the devil's family. They still got to deal with the fact that they somehow are going to try to put this thing into the ground, and the ground's not going to accept it, and the box is going to burn. I don't know, whatever's going to happen. Rob Reiner obviously hated MAGA. Rob Reiner hated MAGA, hated Trump, hated us with every ounce and fiber of his being. Hated. Absolutely despised you and me to every fiber of his being. Pure hatred. Pure, unadulterated hatred. The picture you might see on the screen, if you see it, is his son. One of his sons. He's got 2, I believe. And I believe this is the one that got arrested. Now he looks bigger. He's got more weight. This is an older picture. Son's had drug problems. Obviously, son did not like mom and dad or had a bit of a beef with them or something. But he killed them. Not only did he kill them, he slit their throats. That is like a level of murder that's weird in the karmic sense. Now, again, I feel bad for anybody that's left behind. He's got 2 kids. He's got a son that didn't kill his parents and a daughter that didn't kill his parents. And then the son that killed his parents. I doubt he's again, a drug addict. Again, how these things work, don't know. It is very interesting, though. Again, I always trip on karma. That's one thing I will always say. And this is definitely not a karma-free thing. When you spew an abnormal amount of hatred out into the world, your life is likely not safe. And I'm thinking, and I mean, I don't know, but examples like a Rosie O'Donnell. And again, Rosie, stay safe. I hope you have security. I don't know. I'm not saying anything. Health issues, I don't know. It's just weird that oftentimes it's the ones that, and I talk about manifesting. I mean, if Rosie somehow hearing about this, like manifesting, when what you send out comes back on you tenfold, period. So if you're sending out hate, and I say this to all of you that might be hating publicly on Rob Reiner, first off, I would delete those posts if I were you. You might have said it in anger, and then pull it back. Don't leave that out there forever. It's still karma, but I feel like it's worse now that you know. Sending hate out gets hate back. It is. I know a lot of people don't want to believe that. Trump posted this. It's still here. This kind of, I guess, bums me out a little bit, but all right. You know, I know Rob Reiner was so extraordinarily mean and angry to Trump. And who knows, maybe had a lot to do with things. I actually didn't realize all the movies that Rob Reiner directed. He directed, like, amazing movies. And I was like, crap. This is Spinal Tap, Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, A Few Good Men, The Bucket List. And then he was on every... Just Jess, whatever that show was. I forget what her name was. Anyway, good show. He was her father. Zoe Deschanel was the actress. I remember her name. Wow. But I'm drawing a blank on she was the only roommate. Anyway, it's like Friends, basically. So Donald Trump posted this. A very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling, but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away, together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome. Wow. Sometimes referred to as TDS. Trump managed to make it about him. Again, I love Trump. Support him forever. We all do things we're not going to be proud of. I feel like this might be one of them. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness. And with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before, may Rob and Michelle rest in peace, which, okay, at least he has that at the end. I don't know. Terror attack plot involving series of bombing across Southern California. They were going to L.A., Riverside, San Bernardino, San Luis Obispo, Santa Barbara, Ventura counties. There's plans all over the place. This group called the Turtle Island Liberation Front, supposedly far-left, pro-Palestinian, anti-government, anti-capitalist, obviously anti-Israel. They're going to do a series of bombings. They're planning multiple targets in California. They've not been fully specific about which those targets are, which they shouldn't, because it would give other people ideas. So yeah, we got some photos, including this affidavit showing bomb-making components and signs that read "Death to ICE, Death to America, Long Live Turtle Island, Palestine." Now, what this kind of feels like to me, this isn't just random people that come from a foreign land and are planning on bombing specific places. And how do I know that? Here's how I know that. Their signs wouldn't be so very specific towards this, and the way they're even phrased. They're meant to MK Ultra they're meant to kind of be part of that process. This is the imaging. They're presenting this. This is supposed to be there, like the ISIS flag on the Australian shooter. We'll talk about it. Yeah, of course he had the ISIS flag in his car. Of course he did. I'm not saying he didn't. Of course he did. It was kind of like the movie with Mel Gibson, or I can't remember anything anymore. But the the conspiracy theory. That's what it was called. And he talked about the little red book. And how everybody tended to have it. All the assassins always had that crazy little book. And I don't mean the communist book. Again, drawing sorts of blanks here. That's the catch. Catcher in the Rye. Thank you. So we've got these people that have been programmed, and they're doing very specific things with the help, usually, of others. This is likely one of those cells that the FBI was possibly involved with. And again, Patel can't say that. He can say we stopped these guys. Can't say we were actually behind it initially. Not saying they were specifically, but you guys get there's so many pieces to these puzzles. A U-Haul truck explodes in Idaho parking lot, killing driver. This was not terrorist. This was really more a public service announcement, but I thought I'd put these two things together because, one, this is apropos to the bombing of the federal government building. What was that out there in Arkansas? Was that where it was? The dude did the quote fertilizer bomb on the Ryder truck, which many question because it's unlikely that fertilizer could have made that big of an explosion. So a lot of people assume it was probably something much, much more sinister and strong. I think they found the axle like really far away. Like it flung the hell out of it. And that's underneath the explosion. Not like, Anyway, all said. My point to this one is this thing had a gas leak from a barbecue or something to that effect. Filled up the back, somehow got lit, and boom is, major boom. Like this is where the thing was, I guess. This blew the hell out of it. So my point is, if you move and you're using any sort of truck at all and you're moving a barbecue, turn that main tank off, all right, please? Turn the main tank off. You can F everything else. Turn that main tank valve off. Then you won't have any leaks, and you'll save your life and your friends' lives and your friends' lives, and you won't end up like Rob Reiner. Caroline Levitt posted, she said this. We're going to go this direction.
In economic news, the September jobs report showed the American economy remains strong, with 119,000 new jobs added, more than double expectations. These gains came after the summer passage of President Trump's historic tax cuts and multiple big trade deals with countries around the world. In particular, construction jobs surged by 19,000 in September, the largest monthly gain in a year. Nearly all of this solid monthly job growth came from the private sector and went to Americans rather than foreign-born workers, the opposite of what we saw under the previous administration. Inflation also remains under control, and wages are up by 3.8% over the year for American workers because of President Trump's pro-growth policies. In fact, real wages are on pace to increase roughly $1,200 for the average worker this year under President Trump. This is a complete reversal of the failed Biden era when we saw inflation skyrocket to 9%, causing private sector workers to see their wages decline by approximately $3,000. We know that Americans are still hurting from the 4-decade high inflation caused by Joe Biden and the Democrats. But President Trump is making significant progress to fix this, and he will not stop working until he solves it. As the president recently stated, he is never satisfied.
The real truth, really, as far as heavy inflation, was COVID. COVID effed our inflation bad. And then, even Biden couldn't maintain it to those levels, so it kind of just naturally came down once they stopped spending grossly on everybody, which, again, because of Democrats, was abused, which helped inflation. So, again, a lot of aspects to this, but, the heavy amounts of this came just from the government just dropping butt tons of money into the economy. Ruined everything. Well, the Fed, really. And then we're on the hook for it, of course, which is always lots of fun. Tesla shares have jumped nearly 5%. Elon Musk is confirming that they are working on the driverless robotaxi testing. I can't even tell you guys. There's no way in effing hell I'm hopping in a car that's driverless. Zero chance. At least not for a long time. There's going to be so many deaths with these things, dude. please. Oh, they're going to hit pedestrians. They'll probably take out babies. Oh, it's going to be excellent. Just so much awesomeness. Anyway, yeah, you hop into no offense, Musk, I love what you're doing. But yeah, you go hop into a freaking car that's not being driven by anybody. Tell me how you feel. Because it's not going to be good. It's going to freak me out. I'd be like, I'm not going, thanks. Appreciate it. Even if there's some dude sitting in the passenger seat. What are you doing? Why aren't you sitting behind the wheel? Get behind the wheel where you belong, bastard. At least put your hands on it so I feel like you're driving, even though maybe you aren't. Too many stories already. Yeah, so stock market's interesting today. Silver, oh wow, so man, silver's just bucking bronco. So I was looking at it when it dipped back down. It was up a bunch, about 260 or something, almost, and 250-ish. Feels like it's getting close to where it is on the stock. So anyway, close to, I guess, $2. But anyway, it's a 64.07. It's up 3.33%, which is fantastic. Gold sitting up 11.6% or $11.6, which again, oh shit, it's at 43.39 though. And it went way up in the day and then came back down. Again, they're trying to mess with this stuff. It's not going well. And again, you've got inflation happening when it comes to the dollar amounts of your stock portfolio. This is the problem we've got, a lot of us. If you've got an IRA or a 401k, you're going to want to diversify out of that. You're going to want to protect your wealth. Buying power is the best way to look at it. Wealth is just, you've accumulated, right? So over years and years and years, you've saved up all of this, nest egg, right? Got a bunch of money tucked away. And that money can buy whatever it can buy right now. And that's what I mean by buying power. So you're sitting on $500,000. I don't know, I'm just thinking California or something, right? And that's like, either A, you might be able to get a house someplace, or B, that's most of a house and, maybe a little in savings so you can just, cushion. But you've got, half a house paid for. I'm not saying you would do that. It's not necessarily a smart investment, but that's what you could buy with it. And my point is 5 years from now, when inflation's crazy, or maybe sooner, it depends when the Fed thing happens. I'm not sure when that happens. Trump's probably going to be here for that. He's probably here for the bankruptcy, right? These things are going to cause problems with the Federal Reserve note. But the problem is we have to break so far before they can do something about it. And it's at that point where they might start doing this weird offer, like we'll give you, 80 cents on the dollar or 60 cents on the dollar for this new treasury note for your Fed notes that are sitting in your retirement accounts. Yeah, you're going to take a hit in the shorts. Right now, stock market's as high as it's ever been for the most part. Gold and silver prices are going through the roof. Again, gold, you're not making money on gold. Gold's protecting your wealth. It's going to, no matter what's up, it'll average out the same buying power. You'll be able to buy the same $500,000 home or whatever. Well, 5 years from now, that might cost $1 million. That gold you have will be worth $1 million. You'll still be able to buy that home just to keep that buying power concept alive. Silver's the key. Silver's where the money making happens. Now, again, you don't do this to get rich. When the economy's great, you're doing stocks, you're doing treasuries, you're doing a lot of different things. You're definitely not doing gold and silver. When the economy's crashing, gold and silver does extraordinarily well. Nobody wants to admit it, but gold and silver are doing extraordinarily well because the economy's crashing. All the numbers look cool except for gold and silver. You can't hide it, you can't lie. Inflation's killing us. Take advantage of it. While you're sitting at the best, don't worry about getting to that point where you're going to take 60 cents on a dollar or whatever they offer. Might be lower than that. Get max value now. And the new currency is going to be backed by gold and silver. You're already going to be there. You're set. You're set. The treasury notes, you can either exchange or you can just use the precious metals as is and be like, I want to purchase with this. And they'll be like, all right, that's worth this so many treasury notes. We'll take it. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that system. Protect your wealth. Take that chance away so you don't have to worry about it. And literally, the people that have done this, gold's gone up so much. Gold has done extraordinarily well. It was 1,800 about 2-3 years ago. We're sitting at 43 right now. Silver at the beginning of this year was 29 and change. We're sitting at, 64? 63? 64. It was at 29 at the beginning of the year. It's more than doubled. That's not a good sign. Get more silver. There's a multiplier baked into it. A lot of people think within the next year or two, we'll probably get up around 150 to the 200 range. There's a lot of multiplying happening. It's being used in industry. There's contracts that they can't fulfill. Get it while you can. Get it before people realize there's a problem. And you'll sit pretty once this happens. Protect your wealth. Learn all about it. Go to my good friends at Goldco. They will get as much of it sideways, tax-free, penalty-free. Physical metals put into a trust with your name on it. If you want them sent to you, you can, but that's considered a payout. And they can penalize you, and that might happen monetarily. Again, you can ask questions about, what if I've got the metals already and then say I want to get a payout? How does that work? Ask those questions because they'll tell you. You might not recommend it. Most people don't do that, but we can't give advice. They can't give advice. Don't ask for advice. You got to figure this out yourself. They can make it happen. Tax-free, penalty-free. They're going to give you up to 10% free silver. They're going to help you with the best customer service you've ever experienced, probably. These people are freaking awesome. I love them. And you're likely, if you can call within 20 minutes when you put your 4 data points in, you're probably going to get a free Ronald Reagan coin. Half ounce, 9.999% silver. It's minted at the U.S. Treasury. Ronald Reagan on the front. It's a collector and worth just minimum in silver, $31 or $32 right now. It's worth $32 just for calling in 20 minutes. DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. Protect your wealth while you can. Don't let them keep you from that, or at least percentages of it. This person of interest at Brown University shooting, he was released. The first person they thought they had. They learned some interesting information. Basically, it wasn't him. They supposedly, things are going in a different direction. Sounded like they kind of had some leads and were heading that way, but it doesn't sound like they have found the shooter or even know who they are. So the Hanukkah shooters, we're getting a little extra information that's coming out. Apparently these guys, 1, were a father and son duo. 2, they pledged loyalty to ISIS before the massacre. Now, weapons are not necessarily easy to get in Australia. Here's the thing. Australia is now going to go harder on the weapons ban. Australia, I got a guy that's kind of like a little frustrated, Dirty Q. He's like, what about us? Man, you guys don't forget about us, right? Remember to help us out. But here's the thing, Dirty. Y'all got to help yourselves. You're about to completely remove any chance of ever owning a weapon, which would be the only way, really, you could possibly legally protect yourself in situations like this. You see, taking away legal weapons, though they may culturally not be nearly as big a deal in Australia as they are in America, I get that, but taking away protection from law-abiding people means that people that don't abide by the law have a huge advantage if they have a weapon that they got on the black market. You guys have a black market in Australia. There's a black market that's everywhere. So if you've got a little bit of money or know the right people, you can get a weapon, you can get some ammunition, and you can commit crime without anybody really ever catching you. It's just a silly way to go. It's one of the reasons why I think the United States is kind of held true. We've actually got a ridiculous number of firearms in this country. Ridiculous number of firearms. Like a scary amount. Not to us, but to others. It's like, well, we don't want to invade there. Everybody's got a gun. And it's like, no. Everybody's got 5 guns. Come on. A gun, please. What if I don't feel like shooting that today? I need something else. I'm not in the mood for my 9. Let's try the 45 today. Bondi Beach hero, inspiring words before tackling the terrorists revealed. I just thought beautiful. Kind of made me tear up when I first saw it. This is what this dude said to his cousin before he literally ran in for this dude and tackled him. He said, "I'm going to die. Please see my family and tell them that I went down to save people's lives." It still makes it touch me. Dude's like, "I'm going to die, but I'm going to do this because I'm trying to save some lives." Here in America, one of these people in one of these cars would have firearms. Now, I get that the cops that are around somewhere, they had pistols. Again, okay, cops should have some long guns probably too. That's stupid. But again, Australia, make noise, help yourself. This is ridiculous. Aussie Prime Minister, again, is going to get rid of all the guns now because of this attack. Because 2 illegal guys came in shooting everybody. Because of that, let's make sure people that actually follow the law can't get firearms. Makes perfect sense. Now, again, this is how they play. Now, this Jack Posobiec, by the way, pissed me off a bunch of times today. I'm just playing this. I'm just showing this one thing, and it wasn't even so much that I was pissed because some of the stuff he said today, like especially around Reiner, it's just like, wow, dude, really? It's like the people that call themselves Christians and stuff too. I don't like run around and like label myself that. I don't know. Some people have given me shit. You call yourself a Christian? I don't actually. I said I went to Catholic school. I was involved in Catholic church. I was Catholic when I mean. No, I don't run around and like label myself. Just try my best to live the best life I can. I think I try to be Christ-like personally, but I'm never going to be perfect. Get out of here. So it bugs me. Like, it's just, anyway. But Jack Posobiec, Twin Towers were taken down by migrants who hated America too. Are you fucking stupid, Jack? Really? You think what? Some fucking dudes that hate America, learned how to fly Cessnas and literally hijack those planes. You really believe that, Jack? Really? Really? That's embarrassing. Really? Or are you just saying that because, it gets you some clicks? Because that, if you believe that, oh, dude, you're still asleep. Literally, these are the people we're listening to. Javier Milei says cognitive dissonance. In light of the horrible attacks perpetrated by Islamist terrorists in Australia, today we will see a bunch of political figures and media personalities, quote, journalists, expressing their condolences and sympathies without any regard for the fact that they are the very same figures who promote woke, leftist, and anti-capitalist ideas that lead to these outcomes. Instead of expressing empty, countless condolences, remember this the next time they want to execute in the public square of cancellation those of us who defend the ideas of freedom and the values of the West. End. Don't know why he has to say end. I feel like that's unnecessary, sir, but I appreciate your words beyond word, if I can. Supposedly, and I think this is a bullshit story, I'm just going to say, the Associated Press and the New York Times are both reporting this. One probably referencing the other. Supposedly, we've got a U.S. military plane nearly collides with a passenger jet near Venezuela. First off, there's no chance in hell that happened. Period. End of story. Military jet knows exactly where these stupid jets are. If not by themselves, because they're not probably blasting their radar, but from the AWACS that's flying not too far away. Guarantee he knows exactly where this jet is. So whether he saw him in the distance, within 2 to 3 miles, his altitude was probably significantly different from this dude's. Yet, the story from the Associated Press and the New York Times is they almost collided. Trump's military. Pete Hegseth, News at 11. I dislike these people. House Oversight accuses D.C. police chief of falsifying crime data. House committee is actually looking into this, and they've got some whistleblowers that have come forward. And her resigning recently, resignating was what I was going to say. Her resigning was obviously because of this failure. Now, I'm not going to say she's a DEI hire. Over 10,000 illegal immigrants arrested in Los Angeles in the last 6 months. You guys like how I did that? I didn't say she was. Over 10,000 illegal immigrants. This is what you just look at a new camera. 10,000 illegal immigrants arrested in Los Angeles in the last 6 months. Whoop! What do you call that? Good start. 10,000. Barely makes a dent. I haven't seen one Mexican restaurant closed. No offense. I'm just kidding. That's kind of mean. Kind of mean. That's actually kind of a little fucked up. We do have some great Mexican food, though. Oh, my God. was just talking about that with somebody yesterday. We got some great Mexican food. ICE announces arrest of 400 illegal immigrants in Minnesota. The only people that got pissed at me, by the way, when I said that were everybody in Texas. They're like, what? No. You can't handle that. It's not possible. California, you have burritos. We have tacos. We have Tex-Mex. Your food's delicious in Texas, too. It's different, I think. I agree. I like our food, too. I like both. ICE announces arrest 400 illegal immigrants in Minnesota. Too bad. Too bad her son wasn't a part of that. Omar's son got pulled over out in front of a Target or something like that. He had his documentation, so he was set on his way. It's kind of funny that they pulled him over, though. It's not like, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, it could have been an accident. Who knows? He might have been down there because they knew there was something going on and was trying to, be involved maybe, and then got in trouble, and whatever the case is. But Ilhan was talking about it. Personally, I'm not going to play it. New memos show how there's a corruption probe that happened with the Clinton Foundation into the email server and all the different pay-to-play and all that different stuff. Specifically, the pay-to-play is what this new story is about. Found out that the FBI headquarters, the boss at the time, basically killed their investigation, stopped it, said no. All the evidence coming out, the documents, certainly whistleblowers. Kash Patel has released these documents to Congress, which obviously the Biden administration never did. So they've released all these documents. Now they know. Of course, people are going to be brought in and questioned. If they lie to Congress, that's a big crime. We know that. So you can't really lie to Congress. So we'll see how this plays out. But yeah, the information is coming out. Kash Patel is releasing. And this is really, I think, one of the things many of us didn't really think about when it came to really shutting down this whole criminal enterprise. We love that quote. And what we fail to understand is how many things were hidden from plain sight that needed to be brought to our attention, right? Like Congress has done all these investigations, but they were stonewalling, or not all the documents ended up there. You never know exactly. DOJ must return the data seized from the Comey confidant. Court's going to retain a copy, the judge is saying. I don't feel like there's a chance that this appeals court doesn't somehow get involved in this. This just seems very strange that a judge could actually delete evidence without any sort of other motion to assess whether or not that's even correct. Because from what I understand, and we'll find out, but she's saying that they illegally got a hold of this information. My understanding, and again, we'll find out if it's true, but my understanding is that this information was already taken prior, years back, in an investigation then. And then it was reutilized. Like, they're like, well, let's look at that stuff again. And it seems that the judge has an issue because they didn't get another warrant. But it's like, if we've already got this stuff in evidence because of other crimes they've committed, why wouldn't I be allowed to use that and take that? Of course I would. It's admitted evidence for another crime. I could still look at that evidence. It was part of that crime. I mean, it's just weird. We should be able to submit it. This is evidence from a prior crime that he was convicted of. Here's some of that evidence. We're going to go ahead and submit that in as evidence in this court case. And they can't be like, well, when did you find that? How'd you find it? Like, we've had it. Anyway, this judge is basically saying we're going to delete it. We're going to have one copy and we're going to keep it in my little area. And we'll make sure if there's ever a request for it that we've got it. That's how they're going to delete parts of it, edit it, change it, whatever it. Again, there's no way this can be allowed. We'll see. I don't know what time frames are happening, but we'll see. Crypto mogul Do Kwon, he was sentenced to 15 years in prison for stealing $40 billion. A $40 billion stablecoin fraud, whatever. What do you get? $40 billion crash revealed his crypto ecosystem to be a fraud. The victim said the 34-year-old financial technology wizard weaponized their trust to convince them that the investment, secretly propped up by cash infusions, was safe, though it wasn't. A lot of people believe this too, like this stable coin, when it's backed by something else. And that works if it's literally perfectly backed up. But who's paying attention to that? You can claim you've got dollars backing every single coin in there, right? But are we? And as inflation's happening, is it keeping pace? One's going to wonder. Healthy Home is awesome. It's funny. It's so the Feel Great stuff. I like this more. I got the little blender. By the way, we'll talk about this maybe tomorrow. You can buy. So whenever you create your account, when you bought your Unicity, there's like a shop now on the bottom left. Well, typically on my side, or maybe it's a menu you got to pop out. Dude, they got all sorts of cool stuff. One of them's Bone Complex. I started taking that. It's berry flavored, delicious. And it's got a little, I bought a blender that they have, a little mixer, a whisker blender thingy, or I ended up with it somehow. Put batteries in it. Dude, the thing's a frother. I used to work in coffee. If you actually steamed milk and then used this thing, you could make a cappuccino. It makes a really dense foam. It's kind of crazy how well it works. And so it mixes the stuff awesome. Anyway, it's not what I'm here to talk about. It was funny though, because I did that this morning and then I came upstairs and I'm like, oh, I need to take my STEM active. See? Right? I'm still working it. Healthy Home is incredible products. They are, going to keep us safe. I love stuff that focuses us on health, and this is doing exactly that. Stem cells, they help you heal. As we age, stem cell production minimizes. That's your healing component. So your ability to heal is minimized, right? So you're getting inflammation and stuff like that. Yeah, your body's starting to kind of break down. Help yourself heal yourself. This enhances your stem cell creation internally. It's just plant-based stuff. It's not putting stem cells in you. It's causing your body to create more stem cells, 25 to 40% within minutes. You're increasing your odds of healing. You're increasing the parts of your body that can heal. And stem cells can become any cell in the body. They're like androgynous, I like to call them, right? They can run around and become whoever they want. So when you've got healing that needs to happen in certain places, stem cells are one of the best healers out there. They can become replacement cells and in a lot of cases fix what we've got going on. They've got a pill form, which is what I like. They've got a gel form, which is, common to a lot of people. A lot of people like it. It's mixed berry, and it's an easy way to do it. You just rip the packet off and, squeeze it in your mouth, basically. Balance is helping a lot of ladies that are transitioning in and out of childbearing years. This, again, is plant-based. There's no hormones in it. Ladies that are going through this transition, having trouble sleeping, having troubles with their core temperature, just a lot of crazy stuff happening in their life and relationships and all these things. This is actually bringing balance. It's a transdermal lotion. You literally just put a little on your wrist. You rub your wrists together. They call it clicks. 1 click, 2 clicks, 3 clicks. That's how much lotion you're using. And you can kind of figure that out. But ladies are raving about how it is really making them feel better. And like instantly, it's not like you've got to use it for days. It's like, no, the first time you use it, you just like, oh, wow. And again, plant-based, helping your body heal itself, helping your body deal with this transition. That's all it is, it's transition, right? It's just not easy to go through from what I understand, just watching it from the outside. Amaze is awesome. Collagen peptide, it's a liquid, so you don't have to worry about it, whether it's dissolving or not. And peptide means it's already the smallest little micro form it can be. So it's absorbed extraordinarily easily. You got issues with your hair growing, or the thickness even for that matter, this is helping. What about sagging skin, sore muscles, joint discomfort? All these things. Collagen is the secret sauce. Use the Amaze product. You'll be amazed, and it is very delicious. It's easily my favorite tasting product that they've got. I love it. Prime is definitely second place. They're both really, really good. All said. Prime helps you with energy. Nitric oxide booster just gets more oxygen in your blood, literally, and it gives you more energy. That's what it comes down to. It's beautiful how it works. So check that out. It's a powder. It dissolves in your mouth really quickly. Literally within 2-3 minutes, you're feeling the effects. It's awesome. And it's not like you feel high or anything weird like that. You just have more energy. Things that you do normally, you're like, I'm not getting winded quite the same. It's very cool. That's probably where you will notice it more is breathing. Because again, more oxygen is being brought to your lungs and helping in that regard. They've got STEM Active for pets, which is great. It's about half the price of what we pay for ourselves. Does the exact same thing. Heals your pets. Your pets, as they get older, you don't want them getting all dyed and messed up. No. Got to give him some extra stem health there. So go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Once again, danradiostyle.healthyhome or healthyhome.com. danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. All right, let's get out of this. Whoops. Let's confuse ourselves. Let's do that. I'm not going to play Rand Paul saying this, but I am going to point out the fact because, he just says a lot of stupid stuff lately, and I normally ignore it, but I'm like, no, let's share. So when people understand why I'm going to beat the hell out, how we're going to campaign the heck against him better. I almost said something violent. I didn't mean to. I don't mean it like that, but I was like, we were going to knock this guy out of his seat, but you don't want that. Redistricting, he says, could lead to political violence. What do you mean, worse than like Charlie Kirk, Rand Paul? Just curious, worse than when you got attacked in the street? Remember that? Because that had nothing to do with redistricting. What about the fact that, it's generally speaking the people on the left that are the ones that freak out? Is that what you're saying? Is you're afraid, Rand Paul? Because that might be after you got attacked on the street. Maybe you should just use the security tunnels or get a driver or whatever, get security, live on a base, whatever you got to do. But to have the rest of our country suffer because of your fears, I don't know if that's something I'm willing to do. I'm not sure exactly what his reasons are. Supposedly, Candace Owens and Erica Kirk are had a chit-chat today. I think it's probably already happened at this point, but it was supposed to be today. An in-person discussion. Basically Candace was like, I'm very much looking forward to this discussion. So, don't know if we're going to get a truce from these two or what happens. I'm very curious, what the outcome of that might be. Maybe they become besties, and she's going to come back to Turning Point USA and just confuse the hell out of people like me. Maybe. That'd be cool. A new Republican vision for healthcare. They've got 3 reforms that they're trying to push through right now. I thought these reforms were kind of interesting. Frankly. So the first reform is this. Americans should have a medical wallet on their phones. I don't like the phone per se, but whatever, I got you. You should have access to it anywhere. Instead of subsidies going to insurance companies, money would go into a medical wallet the patient owns and can directly control. It would resemble a health savings account, but unlike current law, it would be restricted to just those with high deductible insurance plans. Families could use a medical wallet for routine needs or save for later expenses. Ownership changes behavior. People compare prices, judge value, and choose services based on their own priorities. None of this is possible when the subsidies bypass individuals and go directly to insurance companies. The second reform from Republicans should champion, is portable coverage. Insurance should be centered around the individual, not the employer or the state. It is about freedom and security, and right now patients have neither. Americans want the freedom to make a fresh start, whether that's a new job or a move to a new state. To do that, they need the security of stable insurance. The ACA in its current form has made purchasing private insurance out of reach. Too often workers are stuck in jobs they would otherwise leave because losing employee-provided insurance is simply too risky and expensive. Insurance companies' subsidies have led to yearly rate hikes for everyone, exasperating the problem. The 9% of the population on ACA plans have been insulated from these price jumps, but the rest of the country has felt the full burden of these increases. The third reform is essential to the first two and to any truly functional healthcare system. Full and real price transparency. In the 15 years after the ACA became law, people still do not know the exact cost of services before they receive them. Consumers should be able to shop for most medical care, but this currently is impossible. Real prices aren't available up front, let alone whether those prices reflect high quality, high value care. While the ACA includes language to improve price transparency, enforcement has at best been inconsistent. Clear prices are particularly important when consumers control their own dollar and have coverage that lets them act on that information. The Marshall-Hickenlooper bill accomplishes this and must be a priority for passage. Hopefully there's some good stuff in there, but they didn't add a bunch of crap. But hopefully the Marshall-Hickenlooper bill, the name itself is a winner, but hopefully that we can get that pushed through. It sounds like a good idea. I just thought this was funny. This is out in some stupid rag. I don't know which source, but it's obviously stupid. But they said they knew. Why didn't the unvaccinated do more to warn us? The unvaccinated knew what we didn't. Some of them said too little. Most said nothing at all. A lot of blood is now on their hands. Really? Really? How many of us lost our channels, got censored beyond words, literally got deplatformed from financial institutions? Yeah, why didn't we say anything? Fuck you, whoever you are. Sorry, had to. Liam Neeson is done some voiceover stuff. Now look, he voiced over a script. It didn't mean he chose it. Didn't mean he wrote it. A lot of people are just ascribing way too much to this. Oh, Liam Neeson's doing it. Oh, he must believe it. No, this was a paid gig. It was a voiceover gig. Now, again, there's probably some products that I wouldn't necessarily want to do voiceover for. I would say probably any sort of feminine products. No, not interested, right? That's, stuff like that. Like, or hemorrhoids. Really don't think I want to do those commercials, right? Not cool. But this was actually pretty neat, and this is about the way the pharmacy industry has been working, the things that they have done to us as individuals, and this new movie's coming out. Let's see if I can find the name of the movie. Plagueofcorruption.film. If you guys are curious, plagueofcorruption.film. This is just a teaser. And that's exactly what it's going to do, is tease you.
Of all the words of mice and men, the saddest are what might have been. Mice and humans share virtually the same genetic blueprint. Of approximately 4,000 genes that have been studied, less than 10 are found in one species but not in the other. While these gentle creatures are considered excellent research models for humans, what if they've carried a deadly secret all along? In 2009, a paper in the journal Science rocked the scientific community. It reported that a deadly virus known as XMRV had infected millions of people and contaminated the global blood supply. The source? Mouse tissue, used in countless medical products for decades, starting most notably with the polio vaccine of the 1950s. XMRV, reported as chronic fatigue syndrome, was the biggest health crisis since HIV and AIDS. And then, all of a sudden, it wasn't.
Yeah, so good. So good. In a time of corruption, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. Plagueofcorruption.film. That sounds like it's going to be very interesting. If they've got someone like Liam Neeson voicing it, that's pretty rad. Maria Corina Machado, that's the lady from Venezuela that won the election. She says hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans will return home once Maduro goes. Does that mean Tren de Aragua too? They're going to want to leave? That'd be great if you could take them back. We'd like that very much. A collapse in Germany's chemical sector is a bad omen. Let's just say this. It's happened 3 times in history. Every single time it's happened, a bad bubble popped. 91-ish area, then the dot-com bubble area, and now. And what basically happens is Germany starts producing way less chemicals. And chemicals are a major part of manufacturing in many, many different ways. And the fact that they've reeled this back as far as they have is likely a very, very bad sign, certainly for Germany, but it's generally not worked well for the whole world, oddly, or at least it's a funny coincidence. Whenever Germany does X, that's usually indicative that problem Y is about to follow, and yeah, here we are. Chile turns hard to the right, though tough on crime, anti-immigration candidate easily wins the presidency. This is very funny. So obviously they've got fair elections, is my guess, in Chile. I assume they must, because otherwise there's no chance in hell that they would have let this person make it in there. But yeah, that's awesome. That's all you need to do nowadays is just not be hard right, but that's what they're going to call you. Just be center right, and you're going to be called hard right. President Xi blasts this reckless projects exaggerating growth after China reveals dismal macro data. So the actual numbers that came out for China wasn't very good. And everybody's been talking about how great China's doing. China's doing great. Their manufacturing going up. Everything's going up. China's doing awesome. China's the best in the world. They can outproduce us in every way, shape, and form. They can make more ships than us. We'd never win a war with China. Well, it's just a bunch of BS. China's, of course, big, and they can manufacture the crap out of stuff, but nobody's buying it right now. I also have been talking to my good Chinese friend. The real estate right now is a huge problem in China. People are losing their asses. They can't even sell their homes now. They're stuck in them. They paid way too much. They're way upside down. They've got a big problem. So it sounds like she's actually like, we're not allowed to mess with our currency anymore because the world expects us to follow rules. And I would imagine the United States, that was probably one of the deals Trump made with them. You can't do reevaluation of your currency anymore. You can't do that nonsense. It is what it is. You're stuck with what you got. And China's probably like, fudge. So yeah, things are not quite the sunshine that they want to declare. The EU plan to steal Russian assets constitutes a declaration of war, is what Viktor Orban is saying from Hungary. And he's right. It's like, EU, if you guys steal Russia's stuff, that's an act of war. And essentially, Hungary's kind of like, and we'd support Russia, frankly. We're not going to play along. They are way too... Russia gives them energy, and they will freeze to death otherwise. So, yeah. Orban is very much like, we want out of this European Union nonsense. This is stupid. We'd rather get in tight with Russia. They'll take better care of us. You guys are horrible. It's coming. Trump's pressuring Zelensky to cede land to Russia. That's one of the big problems. Though Zelensky did just say he's willing to drop the NATO bid. Yeah, there's no chance in hell you're ever going to get NATO. First off, the United States is leaving NATO. So, yeah, whatever. If you want to join it, who cares? Doesn't matter. It's going to be a hollowed shell of what it was. You guys are nothing without the United States. Please, get out of here. And I don't mean that like douchily, but just technology-wise. We spend so much more money on military than anybody else. Our military is ridiculous. And hopefully we use it for good from here on out instead of what we've done historically. We've been kind of dicks. So yeah, that war is not looking good. Europe's still trying to keep it alive. And yeah, it's not cool. That's all I can say. Zelensky, here's the thing. He's like, we're not going to give up land. And this kind of cracks me up because like, okay, and this is the funny part with the Europe story too, with them wanting to steal the money. They're wanting to call it... what do they call it? They're wanting to call it the, like what they did to Germany, reparations, something to that effect. They want to call it like reparations to pay back. Here it is, a reparations loan to pay for Kiev. Reparations are paid by the loser, not the winner. Germany didn't win. You don't pay reparations when you're the winner? What if Russia just takes over Ukraine completely and then worries about rebuilding it? It's funny as hell how Europe's going to be like, well, you're going to make Russia pay reparations for the war they won? We lost You should pay the reparations, EU. That's who should pay the reparations. Final story, though I just thought this was interesting. Didn't know. You guys remember the Nelson twins, right? They sang some songs. A couple of them I liked. I can't remember the names of any of them right now, but I'm having issues with my memory today, it seems. There's probably a good reason for that, all said. But yeah, Drew Barrymore, they actually saved her a few times or protected her anyways, from being heavily molested. I'm sure she was still, there's no way this young girl, didn't she start in E.T., right? There's no way. She was, I'm sure, getting, but these guys tried to keep the nasties away from her. Pretty cool. I didn't realize they were twins. By the way, I just thought they were brothers. But the band Nelson, Ricky Nelson, the grandchildren of the great Ozzie and Harriet Nelson. Oh, that's cool. I'm sure everybody knew that back in the day. Twins Gunnar and Matthew Nelson. Anywho, wish I could remember some of their songs. Well, doesn't matter. We've got, and I'm not going to feature them. That's for sure. But I do have a great show. Nicki Minaj stuff. It's going to be happening. I'm proud of Nicki. It's pretty cool that she's come out like she has. I love it. So we're going to continue to rock and roll. every single day, and lots happening, and things are about to get a little interesting. And the timings of it, timing's everything. Timing's everything. So enjoy the ride, folks. We are definitely on one. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.